Hey guys, it's Meal Before Me, and I'm back with another in-depth food review. And this time, I'm trying out Daily Harvest. And for those who don't know, Daily Harvest is a meal plan service that, according to their site, delivers thoughtfully sourced, chef-crafted foods to your door that are ready to enjoy in minutes. The meals are all natural and plant-based, no additives, preservatives, or fillers, and each recipe is built on fruits and vegetables frozen at their peak with your health in mind. Now, I want to make it clear up front that this video isn't sponsored. A good friend gifted me a box from the company, and I just thought it was a great opportunity to share my experience with it on this channel. So I'm going to walk you through everything from how Daily Harvest works to how the food arrived and whether or not I liked it. To get started, the first step is to choose how many items you want in a box and how often. You can have 9, 12, or 24 items per box and have the box delivered weekly or monthly. My friend gifted me with a one-time 9-item box that costs $75, and I'll be reviewing all 9 of those items here in this video, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I looked at the regular non-gift plans, and it seems that when ordering, each item has a set price, so the total cost of your box will depend on the foods you choose. As an example, I tossed some random items into a box of 24, and the total was around $175, including discounts. With each item costing around $6 to $9, it can add up, so I wouldn't exactly call Daily Harvest cheap compared to how much I personally spend on food, but the price might be right for you. Once you've decided on the number of items, you can choose which ones you want to try. They offer a wide variety of over 80 options, including smoothies, flatbreads, soups, lattes, oat bowls, and more. 95% of their ingredients are organic, and the nutritional information for each item is available right there on the site. They do note that due to the handcrafted nature of their recipes, nutritional values may vary slightly and don't factor in any liquid that needs to be added, so keep that in mind. Full disclosure, while I love fruits and veggies, I'd be lying if I said I were a fan of quote-unquote healthy food. So choosing 9 items for my box was a bit of a challenge. Thankfully, there are filters that help narrow things down. You can check off your likes and dislikes and search for items that provide certain benefits or that meet specific dietary needs. Maybe you want something gluten-free or that works with your keto diet. Maybe you're looking for digestive support or a meal that's great for workout recovery. You can use the filters to find the best options for you. Now, I have no food allergies and no hard dietary restrictions, so my choices basically came down to likes and dislikes. That meant no nuts, no coconut, no caffeine, and nothing spicy. I also could have said no cilantro or cucumber, but it doesn't hurt to be a little flexible. After half an hour of deliberation and reading reviews for options I wasn't sure about, I finally chose my 9 items and completed the order. And since the box was a gift, everything was already paid for. I just had to provide my mailing address. To my surprise, the box arrived on my doorstep 2 days later with instructions to freeze the contents. Inside, everything was enclosed in a thickly insulated foil bag, along with a block of dry ice to keep things cold. Remember that dry ice is dangerous, folks, so don't touch it with your bare hands. Wear heavy-duty gloves to remove it from the box and allow it to melt somewhere safe. There was also a packet with a fold-out brochure that included a note from the founder, some info about various ingredients they use, and a bingo card to keep track of which ones you try. Now, as a graphic designer, I appreciate the overall aesthetic. Now, one thing about ordering items online is that you only have the pictures to go on, and size in an image is relative, which means if there's nothing else to provide a sense of scale, you don't really know how big things are. So I'll be including the dimensions for each item, as well as visual aids to help you figure out just how much bang you're getting for your buck. But of course, the most important question is, how does it taste? And I think it's time to find out. To the table! So the first one up is the cauliflower, rice, and pesto bowl. And as you can see, it's got cauliflower, spinach, basil, olive oil, cashew, and a little bit of nutritional yeast. And again, if you want to know all of the ingredients that are in any of these, you can just look it up on the website, but it's also here on the packaging. Now, to give you an idea of the size, it says the net weight is about 9 ounces, and it's 6 inches across for this bowl. And if you want to compare it to something that we all know, you can look at a red Dixie cup. And we can put it like this, side by side, so you can get an idea of the size of this. And again, these were all kept frozen. Because I have this out here, it may be thawed a bit, but they're all frozen to begin with. So let's just go ahead and open this up. Oh, packaging's a little bit difficult. And this bowl, it seems like it's made of some kind of heavy-duty recyclable paper. Ah, there we go. Oh. Okay, so right out of the gate it has a really nice smell. Now, cauliflower rice I normally don't like because I feel like it's very hard to eat. Like, the texture is just not anything like actual rice. And looking at the chunks in this, it looks like that may be an issue with this as well. Now for this, the directions say to heat it in the microwave for about 4 to 5 minutes, and to add a little bit of water or broth if you need to. I'm not going to add anything. I'm just going to try to, microwave it and then see how it goes. But I like that you can see a lot of seasoning in there. It looks like the amount of pesto is pretty decent. So I don't know, I have high hopes for this one, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the bowl has been heated, and now for the moment of truth. And let me just say that because this is a paper bowl, I don't know how well it's going to hold up if you decided that you wanted to maybe put this away for later, so I would suggest putting it in another container, which is what I'm going to do. But first, let's give it a taste. And you can see there was enough liquid in here that I didn't really feel like I needed to add anything. It really is just blocks of cauliflower, and I'm hoping with blocks of flavor. Let's see. Okay, so for flavor, I would definitely give this a 4 out of 5. It tastes good, and I want to say that the best bites are the bites with kind of pieces of the tomato it was, because that added a nice bit of sweetness to it, and I think it gave, the bites that I had just a little extra oomph. Texture-wise, I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5, because normally when I've tried rice cauliflower before, it was just so hard to eat. Like, it was very hard for me to bite down on. It felt like I was eating tiny little rocks, no matter how long it was cooked. These actually came out a lot softer than I expected them to. So yeah, I'd say 4 out of 5 for texture. And as far as whether or not I would eat it again, definitely. I think I would definitely eat this again. It's enough of an amount that would be good for like a lunch. And also give it 5 out of 5 for smell, because it really smelled delicious even when I just opened it up. All right, I'd say we're off to a good start. Here we've got the spinach and shiitake grits harvest bowl with millet, cauliflower, spinach, shiitake, basil, and cashew. Organic, by the way. Whenever you see the asterisk, that means that these are organic ingredients. So let's dive into this one, see what this is all about. And again, this one was in the freezer for a bit longer, so it may be a bit more frozen, but we'll see. Let's open her up, please. All right, so if you look in there, I can see again, some spinach, and you can see the pieces of the shiitake mushroom. Now, the size of this bowl is about the same size as the last one, about 6 inches across. So again, that should give you an idea. Now, the heating instructions for this one are a little bit different. This one is still 4 to 5 minutes, but it says to add 1/3 cup of water, so I'm going to do that. Just for the sake of keeping everything consistent, I'm not going to add liquid to any of them unless it says that's the way it's supposed to be cooked. If it's optional, I'm going to leave it out just so I can see how each one of these compares. So let's go and put this one in the microwave. So after 5 minutes in the microwave, this is what we've got. And I will say that everything softened up nicely, so I'm guessing that the 1/3 cup it recommended was enough. Like, normally I only like mushrooms like in a sauce or in ramen, something like that. So I'm interested to see what this is going to taste like, and especially with whatever this millet stuff is. Alright, so first off, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 for smell. I mean, it smells delightful, but also because the smell of mushrooms doesn't necessarily excite me, and it does smell heavily of mushroom, I mean, that's why I didn't give it a perfect 5. As far as taste goes, it also tastes good. I mean, you can really taste the mushroom. There's something interesting going on with whatever this millet is, and again, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. It has a bit of an aftertaste that's almost tinny, and I don't think it's the mushrooms doing it. If anything, I feel like the mushrooms are helping. So, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for flavor, and I'm also going to give it a 3 out of 5 for texture, because while everything is very nice and soft, especially the mushrooms, that millet or whatever it is, it's very grainy. Now, as far as whether or not I would eat it again, I don't know. I mean, I could see myself eating this again if I had it with something that could maybe override whatever that weird aftertaste is. As it stands, there might be better things available that I might try instead. So for this, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for repeatability. Whew! Alright, next we've got my last harvest bowl, which is sweet potato and wild rice hash. And you can see here it's got tomato, wild rice, sweet potato, great northern bean, avocado, and maitake. So let's go ahead, just like the others, and crack this one open. So you can see it's very sweet potato forward already. But I do like how this looks so far. You can really see all of the ingredients. Nice big hefty chunks. Now again, same deal. This is the same size bowl, 6 inches across. And the instructions are 4 to 5 minutes in the microwave. No need to add water this time, so let's go ahead. So here we have our hash after 5 minutes in the microwave, and I can tell you it smells fantastic. I couldn't actually smell anything while it was frozen. The other ones, even when they were frozen, I could kind of smell. This one I smell nothing, but now it smells a lot like the inside of a taco. Now I think the bane of my existence for this one is probably going to be the beans, because I love beans, but I love them when they're like slow cooked and marinated, etc. I don't know if 5 minutes is long enough for this to have really taken on that much flavor, or if it's just going to taste like pure bean. But we'll find out, won't we? Again, there's a very kind of tomatoey, inside of a taco-ness flavor to it. That's the only way I can describe it, is that's what it tastes like. And, you know, I'm not a fan of avocado unless, again, it's like heavily seasoned, you know, it's been roasted or something like that. Just if I can taste the pure avocado itself, I usually don't like it. Here, for some reason, I do. But yeah, this tastes really good. If you like, again, more Mexican-inspired flavors, but without any heat, because this is not spicy, there's no heat here. The beans, I should not have worried about because they are nice and tender. The sweet potatoes also nice and tender. The wild rice is another thing I'm not normally into, but I actually really like it here. So for flavor, I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. I think that if I can like this, knowing that there are some elements in here that I wouldn't normally like, anyone who likes sweet potato and avocado, and again, just some of those very subtle Mexican kind of spices, paprika taste, a little bit of that cumin. If you're into that, you're definitely going to like this. For texture, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, and I'm only dinging it because of the wild rice. It just, I don't know, it's still a little bit rough for me. I mean, it's definitely soft, definitely chewable, but it's also kind of chewy, which I don't like. And as far as repeatability, would I eat this again? I would definitely say yes. I would certainly eat this again. I think it would be hearty, it's tasty, and like everything that I'm trying today, it's healthy. So, you know, what more could you ask for? For the next one, we're going to switch gears a little bit. Now, this is the artichoke and spinach broccoli flatbread. That means that the flatbread itself is actually made out of broccoli. And I wanted to get this one done because this is going to have to be baked, which means it's going to take some time. So, you know, let's open her up, see what she looks like. So, let's grab a pair of my trusty kid scissors and cut this open. And now, as far as size goes with this one, it's about 9 inches long and 4 inches deep. And again, if you want another comparison, well, here's a little Dixie cup. So you can see it's about twice the length of a Dixie cup, if that helps. Don't know if it does, but might as well show it to you. So let's finish cutting this open. All right, so it's definitely rich with veggies on top, and you can get a nice look at this. All right, looks very tasty, and like some of the other ones, like I said, even though this is still frozen, I can smell it from here, and it smells very broccoli heavy. Now, I've never had flatbread made out of broccoli before, but I also don't generally like flatbread. In fact, I don't generally like bread, so this is going to be an interesting experience for me. And taking a look at the ingredients for this, we've got some broccoli, artichoke, spinach, cauliflower, tahini, and thyme. Now, I love artichoke, and tahini, I know it's kind of a lemony sort of sauce, like a white sauce. So we're going to see how that goes over. But I'm going to go ahead and pop this into the oven at 450 degrees for about 18 to 22 minutes, and then we'll come back to it later. Okay, while our flatbread is baking up, we're going to move on to my first soup, which is mushroom and miso, with butternut squash, shiitake, white miso, kelp, tamari, and dulce, which I don't know what this is because I've never seen that ingredient before, but it's organic. So let's go ahead and pop this bad boy open. Alright, so you can already see that you have an abundance of kelp and mushroom, which for me is great. I love Japanese food and Japanese-inspired food, so I like miso soups, I like ramens, so I'm hoping that I'm going to like this one. I don't know how I'm going to feel about the butternut squash being in here, because that's a taste that I don't think I've ever had mixed with this kind of situation. But you know what? You never know until you try. Now, the directions say to add 1 cup of water or unsalted broth. I'm just going to use water, and I'm going to pop this into the microwave for 4 to 6 minutes. So here we've got our miso soup fresh out of the microwave. It smells kind of like dirty wash water. Like, you know when something's in the washing machine and for whatever reason you have to stop it in the middle of the cycle to maybe put something else in there? That's what this smell is. So yeah, definitely 1 out of 5 for smell. But hey, you know, we don't buy food to smell it, we buy it to eat it. I mean, yeah, you can see there's a lot of kelp in there. But there's also a fairly decent balance of, I think, the butternut squash. So like I said, I just went ahead and used plain old water because one of the issues I had with the reviews on the website was that almost everyone who said they liked a dish also mentioned that they completely modified it. You know, they were adding like broth and stock and, you know, seasonings and other veggies and meats and all sorts of things, which to me means that your review is kind of not worth anything anymore. Because yeah, if you're going to sit there and modify something, of course you can make it good because you're changing it to your taste. I want to know what this tastes like as, you know, the company intended. So that's what I'm trying to do for you guys. So let's go ahead and give this a go. All right, well, the broth is very bland. So now let's get a big heaping spoonful of all the veggies. See if that helps. Oh God, no. All right. I think we have our first fail. This one failed. Oh God, oh God. Okay, well, not only does it smell like wash water, it tastes like wash water. Oh my God. Oh no, friends. This one, is a 1 out of 5 for smell, 1 out of 5 for flavor, and 1 out of 5 for texture because the texture of everything is like slimy and just weird. I don't like this. And it has an aftertaste. Nope. Repeatability. I think it should be obvious. I would never buy this again. And to be honest, if not for the fact that I hate to waste food, this might go straight in the garbage. Ugh, moving on. Wells bells, while I take a moment to recover from that fiasco, let's check out this flatbread. Now, I left it in for about 19 minutes, and it did say 18 to 22, and that's because I don't like really crunchy bread. I like my bread to be a little bit soft, and so I can see right here that it does have the kind of softness I like, but there is still a little bit of crunch. Now, I do have a pizza cutter, so I was going to use that, but I can't find it, so we're just going to use my hands. And you can see it doesn't look all that different from when I first put it in there. And, you know, it doesn't have much of a smell, and what smell it does have, again, is just the smell of broccoli. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 for smell, because it's not an unpleasant smell, it's just, you know, there's nothing to it. I mean, it's broccoli, what do you expect? Now, what I will say is that I'm a bit disappointed because it's supposed to have, like, a tahini sauce, and I don't see anything. So I think I'm going to be curious to see what it looked like on the website, because I could have sworn that it made it look like it was going to have a significant amount of sauce and not so much of the veggies going on. But either way, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I can see hints of the white sauce underneath there if you look really closely. So there might just be enough to give it the flavor profile it needs. Who knows? Let's see. It's not bad, but it's about as boring as you would expect something that's made completely out of broccoli to be. I don't taste anything but the broccoli. I mean, I know there's artichoke and spinach in there. A little bit of the artichoke comes through, but for the most part, no, I just taste broccoli. The little tiny bit of tahini sauce is there. I think I wish that would have been more abundant. I also wish it would have been drizzled on top and not underneath the vegetables, because I feel like even if this had crisped up more, it still would have soaked in a bit. So maybe that's something I would have preferred that they had like in a separate packet. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for smell because, you know, it smells like what it is. And for taste, I'm also going to give it a 3 out of 5. Again, it's not bad, but this is definitely the kind of thing that could benefit from some meat. Or just, you know, if it's going to just be veggies, for those of you who don't eat meat, something that's saltier, more robust, more savory, just something to balance out the green in this, because all I taste is green. And again, because you're gonna have to bake it to your liking, you know, you're the one that can decide if you like the crispiness of it or not. For me, because I purposely kept it a little bit soft, I'm fine with the texture. You know, there's just a little bit of crunch on the edges. Meanwhile, the inside still has some bite to it. So, you know, 4 out of 5 for texture. And as far as repeatability goes, would I eat this again? Probably not. Again, not because it's bad, you know, of like if I went to a party and this was one of the appetizers, I would eat it. But to buy this without having something really flavorful to balance it out, it just wouldn't be worth it to me. And it's a shame because what little bit of that tahini sauce I can taste is fairly nice. You know, it's got a peppery, lemony kind of taste to it. It's a bit zesty, and it definitely brightens this up and gives it a little bit more depth and makes it a bit more of a dynamic flavor profile. But overall, yeah, I would say it's good for a snack. I personally wouldn't get it again, but that does not mean it's not worth getting. You might actually like this, so 2 out of 5 for repeatability. All right, up next, we have a chilled soup that's tomato and bell pepper gazpacho, and it's got tomato, cucumber, peach, which is interesting, bell pepper, lemon, and olive oil. Now, excuse me for having some spinach still left under my fingernails here, but I don't know if I have high hopes for this one. I don't like cucumbers. I don't think I like peaches in something like this, and I'm not that big on lemon. And to top it all off, I don't like chilled soup, but I wanted to get outside of my comfort zone. I wanted to try it out and see if, you know, maybe Daily Harvest can change my mind. So let's open her up. So it doesn't look like there's a lot to it, but the interesting about this is because it's gazpacho and because it's supposed to be chilled soup, this is the only one that I purchased that's supposed to be blended, besides a smoothie that hasn't come up yet. So I'm supposed to add 1 cup of warm water before I blend it smooth. I'm going to go ahead and take care of that now, and we'll see how it comes out. All right, here we've got some friendly gazpacho, chilled. And I'm very tempted to warm it up, but I want to stay true to the ingredients. I want to stay true to the recipe. So, you know, here it is, still cold. Now, looking at it, I don't like that there appears to be some bits that, in spite of me blending it very thoroughly, just look like they want to kind of separate out. The smell is mostly of bell peppers with a little hint of lemon. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see what this is going to taste like because the odds are stacked against it. Oh, let's give her a go. 1 big heaping spoonful. Oh. Okay, I mean, it's not bad, but it does just taste like a bunch of blended up bell peppers with, you know, a little hint of lemon. I mean, it's almost as if the peach does absolutely nothing for it. Maybe it brightened it up a little bit because I can see the bell peppers just having a very heavy kind of one-note flavor to them. Maybe that's what's going on, but it doesn't taste like peach, I can tell you that. So, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 for flavor. For texture, it is interesting. I kind of like it. It's almost like, I don't know, applesauce, maybe? But again, that might be because it was frozen, but it didn't say to thaw everything out. It just said add a cup of warm water, so I did exactly what it told me to do. But the texture is not the issue, and I don't think the issues it has would be remedied by heating it up. So it's not the fact that it's cold either. It's just the flavors aren't doing it for me. I really just feel like I'm eating bell pepper soup. So yeah, I mean, texture, again, is kind of interesting. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Smell, maybe 3 out of 5. Again, flavor, 2 out of 5. And repeatability, definitely wouldn't order this again. But you know what? I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't fault Daily Harvest for that. When it said chilled soup, I kind of knew that this was something I wasn't going to like. But like I said, I just wanted to step outside of my comfort zone and, you know, see if maybe there was something that could change my mind about soup that's cold. And this was not it. So, now we're moving on to what I guess you could consider to be for breakfast. It is an oat bowl. This one is cherry and dark chocolate. And as you can see, it's got cherry, raspberry, oats, strawberry, cacao, and maca. Oatmeal is one of those things I had to come to terms with because I hated it for most of my life. But I decided that, you know, it seems like it's a healthy thing to snack on, especially in the morning, along with my tea. And that's with nothing in it. So if I manage to find a way to like oatmeal plain, I'm sure that oatmeal with fruit and chocolate in it can't possibly be that bad. So let's crack her open. Oh, yes. I am tempted to just eat that right out of the right out of the gate. Oh, look at that. Wonderful. Looks like little dukes. But there's a really big cherry there, if you can see that. There's some raspberries. And of course, you got some oats here. So I don't know if this is the only bit of chocolate that's in there. I'm expecting this to be good, so I'm excited. Now, the directions say to add half a cup of milk, whatever kind of milk you want to this, and then you can have it cold, and it has directions for that, or the directions for having it warm are to put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. You can guess which one I'm gonna do. I like my oatmeal warm, so let's give it a try. All right, here's another one that looks a lot better going in than it did coming out. But I went ahead and I heated it up for 2 minutes and gave it a bit of a stir. It looks like there's some of the chocolate or something that didn't fully mix in, I'm not sure. And those cherries are really, they're really showing off at this point. Now, I don't like cherries, but in the interest of making sure I taste what this is supposed to taste like with all the ingredients, I will take a big spoonful with one of the cherries in it. It smells very much just like oats, but there's definitely like a chocolatey, like cacao smell to it. It's not necessarily a pleasant smell. It is a smell. I don't know. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 for that. Now, besides taste, the most important thing to me with an oatmeal is obviously the texture. So I'm going to be really interested to see how this all comes together. Let's go ahead and taste it. Oh, that's actually really good. It has a little bit of brightness from the raspberry, a little bit of deepness from that dark chocolate. I'm not a dark chocolate fan, but I do think that dark chocolate goes really well with citrus and with fruits. So that's a perfect balance to have in this if you're going to have cherries and raspberries. I really like that. Very, very good. I still don't know what this little thingy is. I'm going to bite into that directly and see if I can find out. Because it didn't completely dissolve. So, okay, yeah. I think that's just a bit of the dark chocolate. But yeah, this is very, very good. For flavor, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. This is delicious. For texture, I'm also going to give it a 5 out of 5. I like the fact that it just gets creamier. I was going to say 4 out of 5 because at first it seemed like not all of the oats got really soft. And so there was a little bit of crunchiness in there. But that's something that I think could just, be down to like not stirring well enough. So for the smell, again, it didn't do much for me. What did I say? 1 out of 5? Yeah, I think that's about right. And as far as repeatability, would I get this again? Heck yes, I would. Like, this is so tasty. And I think this would be a really delicious way to start your day. It's hearty, it's decadent, it's rich, and it's enjoyable. 2 thumbs up for the oat bowl. Also, I forgot to mention that this is smaller than the soups and harvest bowls. This one is about 5 inches in diameter. The other ones were 6, so in case you notice that this is tinier, yes, the oat bowl is in fact smaller. We are at the home stretch, and my next item is another oat bowl, this time mulberry and dragon fruit. And you can see it's got blueberry, raspberry, oats, mulberry, and dragon fruit. Now, I've never actually tasted dragon fruit. I think I've tasted mulberry before, but I'm curious about this. I'm hoping it's going to have a very bright, fresh, fruity taste, but we'll see. Let's pop her open. All right. So it looks fairly similar to the last bowl. Let's take a look. We've got some raspberries here. And I think those might be the mulberries, but don't quote me on that because I might have all my berries mixed up. And this one, just like the other one, it's half a cup of milk, whichever kind of milk you prefer. And again, if you want it warm, 2 minutes in the microwave. So you know what? Let's not even wait. Let's take care of it now. Alrighty. I'd say that this one maintained a little bit more of its integrity coming out of the microwave. I do like how the milk turned this pretty lavender kind of color, but you can still see all the berries, you can still see the oats, everything looks, substantial. So again, if you're interested in mouthfeel, I think you'll probably like that it's retained a lot of its bite. At least it looks like it has, but of course that's not what we're here for, so let's give it a taste. It tastes exactly like what you would expect it to taste like. Just oatmeal with, some fruit in it. It's actually really good. I don't know if this is the piece, again, of mulberry. I just tasted this by itself, and it actually tastes like raisins. As far as the dragon fruit goes, I really can't tell what in this is that. But it has a very strong raspberry blueberry flavor. So I'm pretty sure you could take that dragon fruit out and it would still taste pretty much the same. So this is very good. It's very light, so if you don't like the fact that the other one has like the chocolate in it, that it's a lot richer, then you would definitely like this one. It's not too sweet. It's just very fruity and fresh and, tastes like breakfast. So for this one, I'll give it another 5 out of 5. And in terms of texture, I'll also give it a 5 out of 5 because it's just really retained its personality and its character very well compared to the chocolate one, which it did just kind of devolve into mush. Again, mostly because of that chocolate. So yeah, I would say that. And as far as repeatability goes, definitely would try this one again. Oh, last and definitely least is the smoothie. And I say it's the least because I hate smoothies. But I wanted to try as many of their options as I could, so that's why I opted to get one as my last item. So this one is acai and cherry. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And just so you can tell, again, we'll compare this to a Dixie cup so you can look at the size. It's pretty much the same size. This is about 6.9 ounces worth. Now, if we look at the ingredients, we've got some cherry, blueberry, banana, raspberry, acai, and kale. Again, I think that's how it's pronounced. Now, the two things I don't like are banana and kale. I absolutely despise kale with every fiber of my being, but this was one of the only smoothies that I thought maybe had a chance with me. So, we're going to give it a shot. Now, with this one, obviously it's a little bit different because it's not in a bowl. So it says I have to fill the cup to the top with my preferred liquid. And they say, any liquid works, but their option is water or coconut water. Now with me, whenever I make smoothies, I always use milk. So I might as well go with that. And then you just pour it into a blender. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. So let's pop her open and see what's inside. There's my friend Kale. Oh, how are you? The banana, I've been able to get away with having it mixed into things and I don't taste it, but I have never tasted a single thing with kale in it where I could not taste the kale and it did not make the whole thing disgusting to me. So let's see if we can defy that trend today, folks. Alright, I blended it up nice and smooth, but I didn't put it back in that cup because I felt it was going to make it a little bit too difficult to see, so I instead placed it in this clear tumbler. And as you can see, it blended up nice and evenly. And in case you're wondering what I'm using to blend for all of these, I just have one of those tiny little magic bullet blenders, and this actually looks pretty appetizing now, so I'm just going to take a little spoonful of it because I don't have a straw, and we'll see if I like the taste. Well, for the first time, I can taste the kale, but I don't taste that disgusting bitterness that comes with it. Mostly I taste whatever the blueberries or whatever else it is, and the banana. The banana's coming through for me stronger than the kale. I'm not a fan of that, but it's not so off-putting that I think this is something I wouldn't drink. Like, in fact, I think this is perfectly fine. So for flavor, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 and say that if you like banana, you would probably give it a 4 out of 5 or even a 5 out of 5. As far as texture goes, again, what is there to say? It's a smoothie. Same about smell. I mean, there's barely any smell. It's cold fruit. And by the way, I added enough milk just to cover the fruit inside of that cup, and then I transferred it to my blender. So, just so you have an idea of how much liquid I used. But this is actually a really nice consistency. So I'd say for texture, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Again, smell, there's like nothing. So I want to give it a 0 out of 5, but I feel like that's penalizing it for being itself. Just penalizing it for its true nature. It can't help that it doesn't have a smell. It's not really supposed to, I don't think, in this state. And last but not least, of course, would I have this again? I definitely would. I would take out the banana, I think, surely, and replace it with something else. But I also know that, the banana adds a little bit of smoothness to it. So I kind of understand why that's in there. But nevertheless, I would still drink this as is. So I want to say that the smoothie, just like the oat bowls, were pretty much wins for me. Everything else, the soup bowls and the harvest bowls, they were kind of hit or miss, especially the soup bowls. Like, I don't think I would be willing to try any of the other soups. Now, there were 2 categories I did not try. One of them was the lattes because I don't consume caffeine, so I wasn't going to go there. And the other one was bites, which are these little balls of kind of dessert bites. And unfortunately, the one I was going to try, which was chocolate hazelnut, was not available when I ordered my box. But that's just to let you know what else they have. With so many people sheltering at home, food delivery services are even more important, and I'd say that if you're looking for something healthy and don't mind the portions for the price, Daily Harvest is as good an option as any, and they currently deliver to 95% of the continental United States, so odds are they're available near you. One thing I'll say is that if you're used to more processed foods with tons of sugar, salt, and artificial flavoring added, it's possible that cleaner, stripped-down choices like the ones at Daily Harvest may taste bland to you by comparison. So be mindful of the ingredients when choosing your items and try to get things you believe will pack more of a punch. Otherwise, you can do what many reviewers have done and add additional seasoning to suit your taste. You can check out more about this video in the description or watch something new, and subscribe if you like my style of food reviews by clicking the silver throne. Thanks so much for watching MBM, and I'll see you snackies when I'm backies.